listening to Northbound,
presented by Big Time Hoops.
For the North, by the North, Big Time. And now your hosts, Tom Bard and Steve Carmichael.
Welcome back to Season 3 of Northbound, the podcast. Joined as always by my co-host, Steve Carmichael. We're back, as I said, for Season 3. And back on board, sponsoring the podcast again this year, Katahdin Trust Company, back as a presenting sponsor for Northbound. So thank you to those guys for their continued support as we get ready for another year of high school hoops, covering the North, where hoops lives and breathes. Steve, I know that your life is about to get super crazy here with the broadcast schedule kicking off this week, but just how have you been? Let's just start with that. How's the off season been?
Well, it's not just that I have to broadcast. I now have a son who's in high school. So he's a freshman at Presque Isle playing on the JV team. And when you're 14 years old, you don't have a license. So I've been carting his rear end to practice back home, everywhere it needs to be. And it's been just wild that he's already 14 years old, but doing the whole dad thing now, going to practice in high school. So yeah, the off season was good. Went to some games over the summer. I got a chance to watch some really, really talented teams down at the Loon Fest at Matanock Academy in Lincoln, as well as watched a lot of preseason basketball up here in Aroostook County. Looking forward to getting the season rolling. Some of these classes are absolutely loaded. They should be very competitive. I think the Class D boys this year is going to be probably the best tournament that we've had in quite some time. And
we're also getting a new class tournament, Class S, right?
Yes.
S for
Class
small.
S.
Yeah. So
they get rid of double A, put all the big schools in A, and then you got B, C, D, and then under 100 kids is now its own Class S. So a lot of county schools in that and more down east area. So that should be a good one too.
We'll talk about that just because we cover the North. That's what we do.
Right.
As you mentioned, reclassification was probably the biggest off-season storyline. We're not going to go through and say who's where now. There was a lot of movement. We'll talk about some of the teams that moved in the county and in the North in general, but there's other places to go and get it if you're looking for the reclassification stuff. You guys can go look it up there. We just want to get into talking hoops here as games kick off this week. So we're recording. This is Tuesday night, December 2nd. Games are going this week. Steve, do you have your weekend broadcast schedule set? Where are you going to be this week?
I don't have any games this whole week. The season's actually was supposed to start tonight, as you mentioned. We're recording on Tuesday, but the weather is supposed to be, I think, Shed Jonesport Beals was going to be the opening night game. Yep. That got postponed due to the weather, so it's been moved now to tomorrow night. This weekend, I'll be down in Old Town for the Coyotes. Will be hosting Presque Isle. And then next week, my first game is December 9th. I get the Presque Isle Holton girls at home, but then that starts a 52-game regular season schedule for myself.
That's it? That seems like a low number for you. That seems like a light schedule for you.
Well, that doesn't count tournament. That'll
true.
Be 40. Well, now it's not just 42 games. You got to add the Class S schedule. That's going to add, I think, another, 5-6 games, depending on where. Again, it's speculation on my part when they're going to play. It's quarterfinals are supposed to be the Tuesday night, but that's also the prelims for the girls.
Yeah.
And then Wednesday as well, which is the boys prelims, but those are the Class S quarterfinals. So the semifinals will be played in Bangor at the Cross Center while I'm there. So it's just, there's a lot of speculation on my part of when they're going to be played, but it's more than 42 games now.
So I'm going to let the fans in on a little secret here. I was talking to Steve before we got going here. I did not prep at all. Been just maxed out trying to get stuff ready for the actual season here for coverage wise. So I'm just excited to talk a little bit of hoops to kind of get me fired up because I've just been stressed. It's just been so much work these last 2 weeks getting ready for the season. But let's just talk some hoops. So we got the defending Class B state champs up there in the county, but they're not going to be defending it in Class B because of reclassification. So I want to start with the Caribou Vikes. I saw them a little bit. They were down here a couple weeks ago for the Big Time Hoops preseason hoop summit. They were part of that. It was a tournament that we ran with 16 teams that showed up for that from Madawaska all the way down to Sanford. So really happy with the way year one went with that. But they were there. But as I mentioned, you popped in for that. Yep. But they're going to be in a whole new class. So let's start with the Caribou boys. They dropped down to C. When I think Class C boys, I think Caribou now and Matanock. Is there anyone else in Class C that you think will kind of be in the mix to come out of the North?
But you can't forget Orno. They dropped down from B to C as well. So those were the two teams in the regional final last year.
Yep.
Orno loses Will Francis, still bring back Brady Hughes, Bergen Soderberg, Matt
I'm
Allen.
a big Brady Hughes fan, by the way.
Yeah.
I love Brady Hughes.
And Soderberg is probably one of the best shooters in the state. If he gets his feet set and he lines one up, tees it up, more times than not, it's going in. So Orno will be there. The other team, and I can't believe you're forgetting about him, Tom. It's the Fort Kent Warriors.
Listen, it's early. It's episode 1. I didn't want to jump out the gate. You already name dropped Presque Isle. I don't know how many times. I wanted to wait before I slid Fort Kent in there.
They can light up the scoreboard.
Mm-hmm.
Offensively, there are not a lot of teams that can score with Fort Kent. They're going to win a ton of games this year. Aiden Jeffers, Tobias Naranha, probably one of the best 1-2 duos around, especially in Aroostook County.
Mm-hmm.
But they got other guys. They got Mason Pelletier, Finn Kelly in the paint. Will Morneau is still there. Jaden Jeffers is much improved under Coach Sear. Fort Kent's a team that everybody kind of knows they're going to be there, but I don't know if they take seriously. But I'm going to tell you right now, with Jeffers and Naranha, if they are both rolling offensively, they'll put up 80 points. They can outscore you. I don't care if people always talk about their defense and they say they give up too many points. They can outscore you.
Yep.
They will outscore a lot of teams. So that will be, I think Fort Kent will be in the top 4.
That makes me excited. I wasn't sure where they were going to kind of stack up there with all the movement going around. But you mentioned my nephew, Aiden Jeffers. I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. This kid might lead the state in scoring this year. The jump he made from last basketball season to where he's at now, the summer he had, he's getting a little bit bigger, a little bit more explosive. He's added to his game. I'm going to go ahead and call it. He's going to have a 50-piece at some point during the regular season this year.
Hopefully I'm there.
Yes.
I think I'm going to try to catch, of course, the big news this year for you and I, we talk about Presque Isle, Fort Kent. Well, they haven't played each other in quite some time. Well, guess what, buddy? They play this year. They play this year twice.
Interesting. We might have to put a little wager on that one then.
I'm all right with that.
I don't think we gave the defending champs enough love though. Just
of course,
with who they bring back. Go ahead and just let the fans know who's back for the defending champs.
So for Caribou, they lost 3 starters and their 6th man. Tristan Robbins, Cayman Sargent, Braden Bresch, Dawson St. Pierre. But they still bring back Owen Corrigan and Landon Belanger, who were their 2 starters. And I talked about it on some previous shows that I've done. Some names that people have never heard of are going to jump into the action this year, and people are going to say, holy crap, like this Caribou, is it just more talent just coming down the pipeline, just constantly reload. Declan Miller is the first name that comes to mind. He's probably going to handle it. He's a guard, very quick coast to coast. That's one thing about Caribou. They are wicked fast, up and down the floor. They make good decisions. They can shoot the ball. They've got Colby Willett on the inside. He's probably 6'5", and he's a great athlete. He can play like a guard. I mean, he gets up and down the floor like a guard. He's not a traditional big guy who's going to play his back to the basket and be a little bit behind the play. He's running the wing. And then you also got a guy like Carson Richards who can play defense. And Richards, another guy who's a great athlete. Max Morrow, who now this is the dilemma I'm in. So Jaleel Joseph leaves. He was my nephew. Yeah. Max Morrow's a cousin to Jaleel Joseph. So maybe it
doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way. I figured I'd check with that. Well, Max can score. He's a bucket, and when he's hot, he can put up 30 points off the bench by himself. Dakota Trombley as well. He's been a consistent in the Caribou program. He can really shoot the ball. He's a big, strong kid. Louis Hebert, a kid that showed up one time at the Next Up camp for Matt McKenzie and Big Time Hoops of Results basketball. He's got a lot of potential and played really well this preseason. So there's lots of guys for the Vikings. They're not going anywhere. They are, to me, the favorite in C. And they would be one of the favorites in B if they were still there. I mean, it doesn't matter what the letter is in front of their class. Caribou would be competitive.
Yeah, and we didn't really talk about Bannock Cook at all, but my guy Cooper McCarthy, who's got some dog in him, they're going to be good. They bring back most everyone from last year, right?
Andrew Oliver, one of the best shooters. I think he put up a 50-piece last year.
Yeah, he did.
And Andrew Oliver is a phenomenal shooter. McCarthy, as you mentioned, an absolute dog. Avery Jordan is back. True Weatherby, and they got a pretty good freshman class coming in as well. So the Lynx are looking to reload, but they're probably one or two. And Caribou and Madanauca do play twice on the year, so those will be some. We talk about potentially some games of the week. That's definitely one to look out for.
Absolutely. Give me a sleeper in C North.
Well, again. Does Fort Kent count as a sleeper or no?
Well, I don't know. You were making it sound like we're going to win the North the way you were talking about it.
I think a team like Dexter, they have shown some nice glimpses here in the preseason. And Dexter has always been a terrific program. They were down a little bit over the past couple of years, but I expect them to take a step forward. And then nobody really talks about Foxcroft Academy. Yeah. Those are probably the two teams that may sneak up into one of those top 4 slots. I expect it to be Caribou, Madanauca, well, Fort Kent, then probably Orono. But when you talk 5 through 8, look at that 5 spot. Dexter, Foxcroft would probably be the first 2 that come to mind.
All right. I want to go back. We kind of jumped straight to C. We're not going to really talk about A today. We're just worried about the county. Like, I want to talk county hoops on the podcast today. Yeah. So let's go up to B. Now, there's only one school from the county now with Presque Isle, right? Correct.
Presque Isle is the only Aroostook County team left as Caribou dropped. So they're kind of on an island, right? Yeah. They only missed the cutoff by, the difference between Presque Isle and Foxcroft. The Ponies have 431 enrollment. Presque Isle's 456.
Okay.
Missed the cutoff just barely. I've seen the Wildcats a lot this preseason, and they have changed their style of play. They're going to run up and down the floor. I've really been impressed with Cruz Casavant in the preseason, about 6'3", 6'4", 3-level scorer inside, mid range on the outside as well. Can get his own shot. Kason Bua as well. He came onto the scene last year, and I think that Bua, if Casavant and Bua can average 20 to 25 between the two of them, and then you can find a guy like Bodie McPherson, maybe get you close to double figures. Eli Mosier as well on the inside. Brandon Porter coming off the bench has been really good in the preseason. He's improved a lot. Presque Isle should be competitive in B. I think they'll be around a team that you probably don't want to play come the postseason time. Struggled a little bit in the preseason playing the new style, turn the ball over, had like a 2-3 minute stretch every half. They just kind of some silly turnovers. I expect them to clean that up and get in better shape too. When you go from playing slow and now you're playing really fast, kids got to get in basketball shape, and they will. So I expect the Wildcats to be a pretty darn good team this season.
Can't believe that we're down to, for a little bit, we're down to one Class A school up there. And now Presque Isle's holding on as the last Class B school up there. It's crazy times.
Yeah. Well, everybody attributes it to when the Air Force Base closed down, right? And that's when people started, all the jobs that were there, and people started leaving, and nobody's really, there are people moving back to Aroostook County. It's just not a enticing place to live, I guess. I love it up here.
I'll be back at some point. Once I retire, I'm going to disappear up there, I think. That's the plan. I can't wait. I can't wait to return.
In Wallagrass?
In Wallagrass, on a lake. I can't wait. I can't wait for that day. So, yeah, that's it for Class B. So let's hop on down to D. And I don't even know who's in D up there, because with Class S, like, it's such like a thin line, like in terms of if you're D or S. So who do we got in D up there? I'm guessing it's most of the county.
So Fort Fairfield is the biggest school from Aroostook County that is now in Class D. You also have Hodgson. You want to count Stearns? It's close enough, right?
We'll give it to him. I think Stearns is northbound enough.
Madawaska. Yep. Central Aroostook, Southern Aroostook, and then Skank. We'll count. If we count Stearns, we'll count Skank too.
Okay. I want to start with our boys from Madawaska. So I'm going to be nicer this year. I'm not going to give them as hard of a time as I did last year. And I just want to shout out WHOWL. Wow. For putting me on the little mix or little hype.
I know.
Appreciate the love, guys. I don't know if that was love or not, but glad I could provide some inspiration for the boys to get going this year. But when we talk Madawaska, it all starts with he's now a freshman. Quinn Pelletier moves up from 8th grade to freshman year. I'm guessing you've seen them a little bit in the preseason here.
They went down to play in South Portland.
Yeah.
So I didn't get a chance to see Madawaska in the preseason, but I know they went down to Sopo to play in that tournament. So, yeah, Quinn, and I've had a few people mention, because last year I was on the Eastern Maine Sports Show and we were talking, and I brought up Madawaska as a team to watch since they now have one of the best eighth graders in the state, and Quinn Pelletier. Well, nobody had really watched him play. Then they went to Bangor, and in the regional final, he dropped 40 something. And I was standing on the court side by, some of the other media members, and they were like, "Holy crap, Steve! Like, he's holy guys, yeah." Like, I'm not the smartest person in the world, but you don't need to be smart to know that Quinn Pelletier was going to take over.
Yeah,
and you couldn't guard him in that game. Madawaska had no answer for him, and I don't know if any team would have had an answer for him. But he also got Isaac Bollier, who's terrific point guard for Coach Sean Pelletier. Quinn's brother Braden also, Turner on the inside, and Gendro. They only lost the one player, which was Sam Tebow, who was the high flyer on the interior. He had a couple highlight reel dunks last year at the tournament.
Yep.
Madawaska will be near the top of the standings to nobody's surprise. But my dark horse, there was only one team that beat Madawaska in the regular season last year. Just one. You remember who it was?
I forgot that they went like 17-1 last year, right? Yeah.
And they lost the final game of the regular season. Do you remember who it was?
No, but I know you know.
Fort Fairfield.
Fort Fairfield. There you go.
I did the game.
Yeah.
And it was back and forth, and Fort Fairfield got so much better as the year went on. They really struggled about halfway through. Again, new head coach, new system, new everything. And then at the end of the season, it's like, holy, this team is just as good as anybody.
Yeah.
And, it's just, I expect Fort Fairfield to be the dark horse. They're my dark horse for Class D North to surprise people. They return mostly everybody from last year.
Any other sleepers in Class D North?
Let me look at the schedule here again. Does that have to be a county team?
No, it could be just anyone in D.
Woodland, I think, will be better also with Evan Monk.
Mm-hmm.
Stearns could be around. Penobscot Valley will be solid. Nobody's talking about Central Aroostook anymore because they lost Joseph, but they still return a really solid starting five, even without Joseph. So I expect the Panthers to still be competitive. Bangor Christian with Rajon Reed, Jesse Booker, Elliot Straubel, new coach, Kevin Reed, moving from the girls program. Now he's coaching over on the boys side. We'll talk about the girls team in a little bit. They're one of the favorites in D North.
Yeah.
So it's Bangor Christian on both sides should be one of in the semis or the regional finals or even a state championship.
State championship could be.
Skank too. I forget. Skank has always been in the top four.
I feel like you talk about them every year.
Yeah. They're always the one or the two seed. Machias as well. They lost in the quarters. They were the two seed. Went down in the quarters. They'll be back.
Yeah. Let's drop all the way down to Class S. I want to talk Class S hoops. So how many county teams do we have competing in Class S this year?
7 of the 10.
Let me guess. Let me start making some guesses here. I'm gonna go with Van Buren.
You are correct.
Wisdom.
Yep.
Easton.
Yep.
Washburn.
Yep.
Oh, so that's 4.
Yeah.
Man, who else is there? Southern Aroostook.
Nope.
Really?
They're 108.
Holy just made the cutoff. Who else do we have up there then? Oh, Limestone?
Nope.
I give up. I got the first.
You're
4.
forgetting about the fine folks in Danforth.
East Grand. Shout out to Darius Parker.
The Hunter Hartsgrove.
Yep. Katahdin. Yep. My bad, guys.
And then they did not have a team 2 years ago. They got a team last year, made the tournament on the girls' side.
Ashland.
Correct.
Nice.
Those are the 7.
Right.
And then you got Deer Isle, Stonington, Shed, and Jonesport Beals.
So I'm guessing they're going to be playing pretty much just each other up there. They're not going to have to really travel too much.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Schedule will be with them, and then you'll have like Central Aroostook, Southern Aroostook too.
Yep.
Yep.
Any predictions in Class S?
For boys?
Yeah, we'll go boys.
Watch out for the Beavers.
Oh, Washburn, baby.
The Washburn Beavers. They were in the prelim to the prelim last year.
Yep.
Colt Curtis, Garrett Plord, Coach Terry Cummings. The Beavers are going to be one of the favorites in S North, as well as Katahdin, Brighton Hearts Grove, Calvin Richardson. There's, some good teams there.
I think
Jonesport Beals.
You're gonna love Class S basketball this year. I could just tell, like you just can't wait for some Class S ball.
I have been to Washburn in quite some time. I think since COVID. Yeah. I'm going back this year. They play Monday, and I think I'm going to go check that game out.
Awesome. I like it.
I think they play Hodgson, which that's a tough matchup. However, they can play well with Hodgson, who's one of the better teams in Class C. But I do like the Beavers to surprise some people this year.
Class S. I like it. Hey, we got thanks to a bunch of great sponsors that we got for Big Time Hoops this year. I actually have 2 people up in the county that will be covering games for us. And I'm going to get them to some Class S games. We're going to give some Class S games some love up there in the county this year.
I did see Mr. Turner this weekend.
Tyler's one of my guys, and Tegan Ewings is also going to be doing some stuff for us as well. So excited to have them both on board this upcoming season. Since we're on the topic of Class S, let's just hop over to the girls' side. So anything you want to touch on for Class S girls?
Deer Stonington returns a lot of their roster. I also look at Wisdom with Ava Lerman, who's a senior this year. A lot of people thought she graduated last year. Well,
I thought she did, yeah.
She played as an 8th grader.
That's what it is.
So now she's a senior this year. Ashland was very young. They returned basically everybody as well. Jonesport Beals, another team. Those would be the 4 in Class S North that I'm looking at. However, I do like Wisdom. I think they got the experience. They've been knocking at the door for how long?
For so long.
Almost had Southern Aroostook a couple years ago, and then last year they were not the victim of replay. So do you remember that? That was the first time replay had ever been used to look at potentially a game-winning shot.
I don't remember that. I just remember the Southern Aroostook heartbreak game.
Yeah. So Charlie Pierce caught it on the inside, took a shot, went in. So the replay, of course, I'm the producer. So I've got to, you save it, turn the monitor for the replay. Yeah. And it's determined that the shot did not go off in time. However, the official had a foul before, which he did call the foul before the time expired. Yeah. So Charlie Pierce was able to step to the line, knock down a couple free throws to win it for Mars Hill, and Wisdom lost another heartbreaker. So I just, I'm a believer in karma, and good fortune will come to those who wait. So I am picking the Pioneers to come out of S North.
I'll roll with that. I'll roll with that pick right there. Let's just work our way back up. So Class S, let's hop to Class D girls. So we kind of know the schools that are in that Class D. Teams or players to look out for in D North that we should know about this year.
Well, Tom, I said the other day, and I am starting it right now, that Riley Moulton should be considered for Miss Basketball, at least a semifinalist, if not a finalist.
Wait a second. Yeah, so PVHS dropped down to D.
Correct.
Right?
They're in D.
So we're on a little collision course for Bangor Christian and PVHS. But before we get to that, let's go ahead and give Riley Moulton some love for PVHS.
I don't know what the criteria is for Mr. and Miss Basketball. I've never been on the committee. I've never talked to anybody on the committee. I know it's a secretive process. I don't give a damn how big the school is. Okay. When you have a kid that from the beginning comes in and is impactful, represents your community well, consistently performs night in, night out, and plays well in the big games. I mean, why is she not even in the talk? I mean, everybody, I get Maddie Provost, and she no doubt 100% deserves it as well. But why can't we give some other kids some love? Yep. And Riley Moulton, listen, I'm a big fan of kids with a little bit of swagger, some confidence, and Riley Moulton shows that. And I've been a big fan of hers for a long time, and I think she deserves some recognition. So I just want to be that Riley Moulton should be a Miss Basketball, at least semifinalist, if not potentially a finalist.
I'm down with that. And PVHS, the defending Class C state champs, going to have to go down to D to try to get a Class D state championship. And they bring a lot of people back. They bring Riley back. They got Brooklyn Raymond back.
Lila Cummings.
Cummings. So they're going to be very, very good. But we talked about this potential collision course with Bangor Christian, who was super young last year. And we were talking about this before we started recording, but there's been a lot of movement in the offseason, and maybe none bigger on the girls' side than Mary Allen and Annie Allen moving from Central to Bangor Christian. So it's kind of like Durant going to the Rockets, where they have all this young
Yeah.
talent of Bangor Christian, and they're bringing in Mary Allen.
Yeah. And you know what? Another potential candidate for Miss Basketball, Mary Allen. Talk about somebody that can fill the stat sheet in every category.
Yeah.
And Mary and Annie Allen, new head coach, and Brock Bradford, Rivers Bradford. You also got Durost and Kowalski. Bangor Christian will be right with PVHS, as you talked about. I think those are the two teams. That's going to be the collision course. Those are going to be your finalists. I think they play twice, 2 or 3 times in the regular season.
I would think so. They're right next door pretty much.
Right. So those are ones to highlight as well. We should have a game of the week. I think we do have that as the season goes on.
If you don't have it, I'll take it as one of our games of the week. All right. We'll give
Perfect.
Bangor Christian and PVHS some love right there. So it seems to be a 2-team race in Class D. Let's move up to C. So another defending state champ won't be able to defend their title in the class they won it the year before. Caribou Girls dropping down to C as well. So they're going to have to go chase a Class C state championship this year. Obviously lost someone very good last year in Madeline Dupre. But they bring back some players that were big last year. So outlook for the Caribou Vikings this year.
Yeah, the Caribou Girls do lose Depre. They also lost Liv Adams to a knee injury during soccer. She will not be able to come back and play for basketball. They got the dynamic duo with Lily Bell and Quinn Corrigan, sophomore duo. Then they also got a couple freshmen coming in, Peyton West, Carly Levesque. Caribou will rebuild. They start 3 sophomores and 2 freshmen. So a very young Viking team, but will still be, I think, in the top 4. But they got to get over the hurdle of Madenock Academy and Addison Sear. The Lynx have kind of played bridesmaid to PVHS over the past few years. I think it might be their time.
Talking about teams that have been knocking on the door for a little while now. So Addison Sear, I think the best big player and post player in the entire state. And she's got some weapons around her too. So that'll be interesting.
Absolutely. Yep.
Anyone else in Class C that you can think be in the mix?
Well, I talked about Dexter earlier, but just a team that if they play their style,
always around.
If they score 35 points, they could probably win.
Yep.
That's just what they do. Past that, I'm looking at Dexter, Madanauca, Caribou. I think Orono is going to be better as well. Central, obviously losing the Allen sisters,
that hurts.
Knocks them down to quite a few pegs. But those 3 right there would be my picks.
So now we're going to jump up to B, and there's only one team to talk about up there in B, and it's your Presque Isle Wildcats. So
I think I talked about them already a little bit, didn't I?
Well, the boys you did. Well, how about the girls?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the girls. They didn't lose anybody from last year, so they bring everybody back, including Jan Curtis and Marion Young, Nora Curtis, Maddie Putnam, Carlin Buck, Grana Desjardins, Emmy Hallett, all of them, Bree Burlock. They're all back. And the Wildcats look really good this preseason, played a couple tough games against Lawrence and Hamden. But those are good tests early on, but then defeated Gorham and Poland in their preseason tournament last weekend after Thanksgiving. So the Wildcats, Bree Burlock looks really good, very much improved. Jan Curtis doing her usual thing. Marion Young, I think, is taking her game to the next level. She could be a first-team all-conference performer. Maddie Putnam shooting the ball well. They get some good energy coming off the bench. So the Wildcats in Class B North, the problem being now is that Lawrence is Class B in the North. So Maddie Provost, so you get rid of Madeline Depre, and well, Maddie Provost is now there.
Does she? Do they go up to Presque Isle this year?
They do not. Trip? No,
that's too bad. Okay.
No, so but Lawrence now will play at the Cross Center. So I would expect them to be the 1 seed. After that, between like Ellsworth, MDI, John Bapps, Presque Isle, Old Town, you throw them in a blender, mix them up. Dump them 2 through 6, 2 through 7. And if Ellsworth finishes 2, I can believe it. If they finish 6, I believe it. It just doesn't, I just don't know. It's a lot of parity, other than I expect Lawrence to be the top team.
We'll see what happens. And Lawrence was the top team the last 2 years, right?
Coney's now there too. So Coney.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. We breezed through this pretty quick, but you've been making your media rounds this week. You've been super busy. You got a couple more appearances to go. I've been busy getting ready for the season. So we'll get these episodes a little bit lengthened out as we get going here, but we just wanted to get something out as we head into opening week. So final thoughts, Steve. I know this was a pretty quick episode, but final thoughts before we wrap up episode 1 and bring it back next week to recap what we're about to witness here.
Best time of the year. I'm so glad it's back. I got a few rants lined up, as maybe when we don't have the free version of Zoom, I can have a little bit of a rant where I take 3 minutes where I can just spiel off on something. I got a lot of thoughts on like transfers and some rule changes that I would like to see. We'll get into all that, but just looking forward to get it finally rolling. I mean, they've anticipated it now for a full year. I feel like I just got done tournament last year in February, and then I realized in 3 months I'll be right back there for another week.
Yeah, it's going to go quick. It's going to go fast. It's going to be awesome.
It's good to see you again. Full head of hair.
Full head of hair. Just trying something new. Just been busy. Just been busy. But ready to roll and excited for another round of high school basketball here in the great state of Maine. So that's going to do it for this week's episode of Northbound. We'll be back next week. Like I said, we'll start to lengthen these episodes out as we get going here. As we get our conditioning back. We got to get our wind back here. We got to get back in podcast form. So for Steve, myself, one more shout out to our sponsor, Katahdin Trust, the presenting sponsor of Northbound. We will see you next week with another episode of Northbound, the podcast from Big Time Hoops.